Let me set some just basic ground rules for the questions. Simple, to the point, so we can get as many as possible in. And let me take the first shot at you, if I may. You talked about constructive engagement, which I welcome. Yet from a security point of view, when I look south, and I look at the leaders of Latin America, most of them control their military or have a high influence on their military. And you are éticas, and we do this all the time, speculate, create scenarios and whatnot. Assuming Fidel dies, Raúl takes over, there's social unrest in Cuba, people are heading north, south, whichever way. Chavez either tries to interfere in Cuba or even crosses into Colombia or another country. From a security point of view, are we alone again?
When I was an academic, as you are, I had the luxury of speculating in hypothetics. I'm no longer, or at least temporarily, an academic. I do not have the luxury to engage in a very useful but dangerous hypothetical exercise. So I don't want to not answer your question, but I'm going to have to.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. You spoke about the School of the Americas.
Yeah.
And what happened is that the School of the Americas has a bloody history. And during the 70s, you know what happened in Chile, what happened in Argentina, what happened in Uruguay, the Southern Cone, and the horrible human rights conditions that it was. The School of the Americas was part of it, CIA and all that sort of thing. And I think that to clarify the waters, because we are in a completely different situation right now, somehow, at some point, the United States have to apologize or issue something about what happened at that time. And we are not without fault either, okay? I mean, there is no one-way street, there is no one, to tango. But somehow, we have to come to recognize what really happened and say, okay, that's enough, doesn't happen anymore, we are someplace else right now. Thank you.
I cannot speak for the U.S. government. Only the president can speak in those terms. I would agree that obviously there were human rights violations. But I think, and that in fact it is true, that some students at WINSEC who later went back to their governments and committed human rights violation. Committed human rights violation not because of what was taught at the School of the Americas, but because of who they were as an individual, morally challenged, let's say. Is to say that, and no disrespect to the folks who graduated from Harvard, but if there's a murderer who graduated from Harvard, I don't think Harvard should be blamed because they somehow trained a murderer. Obviously I don't know, and I wasn't involved in School of the Americas. I only know and I'm responsible for the WINSEC. And I wanted to be very clear in my remarks because I have visited the school, I have lectured in the school, I did the simulation, I saw up close, and I would encourage all of you to go to WINSEC because you'll be very welcome there, to see and go through the program. No institution that I know of in the United States, U.S. government institution, is so committed to WINSEC, probably because it's been under the microscope so much, is so committed to professionalizing the issue of human rights than WINSEC is today.
Domingo.
Dr. Mora, for the coming future, are there any developments in terms of initiatives or implementation of some kind of exploration of possibilities concerning Guantanamo Base, concerning the Fourth Fleet, and confidence building with the Cuban authorities in the military field?
When you said one, so let me see if I understand. Are there initiatives, possibilities of engaging the Cuban military? Is that what your question was, on the areas of the Guantanamo?
Aiming at the closing of the base.
Oh, no, I have not seen any discussion. Of course, as you know, there's been very serious discussion, and the president's committed to closing the camps. And I'm not involved in that, so I can't speak to that, but I know that the president is committed to that. In terms of the Fourth Fleet, it's funny, because that was one of the myths that was in my remarks, but I had to pull it out because my remarks were too long, so it could have been 8 or 9 myths. But what I wanted to say, and what we had written in the remarks, was that, again, it's a question of looking exactly at what did the Fourth Fleet. I encourage you to go to Jacksonville Airport to go see Fourth Fleet. It is a building with 135 sailors. No boats, no ships, nothing. And whenever a ship is assigned to the Fourth Fleet, it is assigned from other fleets. And what are those ships that have been assigned to the Fourth Fleet? The USS Comfort, which is the largest hospital, military hospital, I think, in the world. And they're very active in Haiti, and has been very active in the Caribbean providing medical services. Some of these UNITAS exercises are also run by, not run by, but Fourth Fleet participates in, which multiple nations participate in. So there are not aircraft carriers waiting to take off into the hemisphere to, I don't know, do whatever. If anything, the Fourth Fleet has more of a humanitarian mission than a warfighting mission.
And I think the third was any relationship between U.S. military and Cuban military.
No.
Right, Domingo?
Any initiative in the field of confidence building, exchanges of delegations of some sort? Nothing?
Not at this moment, no.
Thank you. Tout d'abord, como dicen los franceses, I would like to thank Frank for this wonderful conference, for his thought to share with us in this projection about the future of a country, of a continent that is plenty of problems. Of course, from the security point of view, I think that Venezuela have number one. But we are facing in a few days the elections in Colombia. And I would like to ask Frank how he feels about the future, and we are ready to react in any conclusion of the elections in Colombia.
No, I mean, I'm not going to speculate as to who might win the election. It's a decision for the Colombians. But I will basically say to you what the Secretary of Defense said to President Uribe and to Minister of Defense Silva during his visit. And that is that the United States will remain committed to Colombia in our partnership, regardless of who wins the election. This is not a government-to-government policy, this is a state-to-state policy. So there will be no change in the relationship either way.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Mora, I would like to know, I have to read the
Please.
question because I'm not used to speaking
Please.
in public. I would like to know if there's a difference between the Defense Department and the State Department in relation to the politics towards certain Latin American countries or the region. I'm asking this a small example. Arturo Valenzuela was in South America not long ago, the country where I originally come from, Ecuador. He showed a very cordial relationship to President Correa, and we know very much he's following very much the politics of the Venezuelan government. And it is a contrast to see that attitude of Mr. Valenzuela to what you are saying now, how you are instead of downplaying